Did you know this was actually the final Apple product announced during Steve Jobs' lifetime? It was unveiled on October 4, 2011, just one day before he passed away, making it a very special piece of tech history. First, let's just appreciate this design. The glass sandwich look with the stainless steel antenna band was an absolute masterpiece. It feels incredibly dense and premium in the hand, weighing in at 140 grams. And look at this tiny 3.5-inch display. It is crazy to think this used to be considered the perfect size for a smartphone. Holding it today brings back a massive wave of nostalgia. While it looks exactly like the iPhone 4, Apple actually redesigned the stainless steel band. They introduced a dual antenna design on the sides to finally fix the infamous Antennagate issue where holding the phone wrong would drop your call. Back in 2011, this premium feel would set you back $649 for the base model, which is roughly $965 today, adjusted for inflation. When you put it side by side with the iPhone 5 that came out just a year later, the design evolution is pretty wild. The iPhone 5 moved to a larger 4-inch screen by stretching the display vertically, while keeping the exact same width. Apple also managed to make the iPhone 5 significantly thinner at 7.6mm compared to the chunky 9.3 on the iPhone 4S. But to really put things into perspective, look at the 4S next to my daily driver, the iPhone 15 Plus. We have gone from a 3.5-inch screen to a massive 6.7-inch display. The 4S feels like a toy phone in comparison. You could practically fit the entire iPhone 4S inside just the screen area of my iPhone 15 Plus. It really highlights how much our media consumption habits have completely changed the physical footprint of the devices in our pockets. Booting it up, we are greeted by iOS 9. This was the end of the line for the 4S. The flat design still looks familiar, but the performance definitely shows its age. Fun fact, the S in the 4S officially stood for Siri. Tim Cook himself confirmed it. Siri was a massive deal back then, and it was originally exclusive to this very phone. The 4S also became legendary for its software support. It originally shipped with iOS 5 and kept getting updates all the way to iOS 9. Making it one of the longest supported smartphones of its era. You can feel the struggle as the older chip tries to keep up with the software today, but there is something incredibly charming about swiping through these older app icons and hearing these classic unlock sounds. But here is where the nostalgia trip hits a brick wall. Unfortunately, the iPhone 4S does not really function today as a proper smartphone. It is essentially an offline device now. Under the hood, it had a dual-core A5 chip. Interestingly, Apple actually downclocked the processor compared to the iPad 2 just to preserve battery life. And despite a huge performance boost over the previous generation, it kept the exact same 512MB of RAM as the iPhone 4. If you try to browse the web, most websites are completely broken in Safari due to the outdated security certificates. You can forget about downloading new apps because signing in with an Apple ID is nearly impossible. Even when I manage to get signed in, iCloud simply refuses to sync reliably, and modern two-factor verification codes do not play nice with this old software. And the biggest nail in the coffin? Well, that has to be connectivity. What made the 4S special at launch was that it was the very first world phone. It supported both GSM and CDMA networks on the exact same model, which was a huge deal for travelers back in the day. But the 4S is a 3G only device, and network providers here in the UK and across the world have actively shut down their 3G antennas. This means you can't make phone calls or send text messages anymore, as it is completely cut off from the cellular world. Before I wrap up, I do want to briefly mention the cameras. We have a classic 8MP shooter on the back and a VGA camera on the front. This was actually the very first iPhone to support 1080p HD video recording. Apple upgraded it to a 5-element lens with a wider f2.4 aperture, which completely changed the mobile photography game at the time. I am going to be making a dedicated video about these cameras next week, taking the 4S out into the real world to shoot some photos and videos to see exactly how they hold up today. If you like this retro content, I have already posted a very similar video looking at the iPhone 5. You should definitely go check that out. I have linked it right down in the description. Here are a few quick samples to give you a taste of what to expect next week. And all I'm gonna say is this camera has a very specific vibe to it. To wrap things up, the iPhone 4S remains a true classic. It is a defining icon from a golden era of tech, but sadly it is no longer a functioning device for the modern world. It is a beautiful piece of history that is best kept on a shelf to admire. And there you have it. I hope you found this episode of Mobile Rewind useful. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. With all of that said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.